Welcome back to the Neo Marketing Podcast. On this edition, we're going to give a nod to media relations, just a little bit of love.
Welcome to the weekly Neo Marketing Podcast, featuring one half of the Golden Group C-Suite, Kyle Golding and Pritch APR PRSA Fellow.
Okay, so Kyle, the last couple of episodes, we've talked about a functional area of public relations people don't normally think about. We did community relations, we did employee communications. I got to give a little bit of love to media.
Sure.
Because it's still in the toolbox. Earned media.
It's a major player.
It can be. And I don't want to say that the news release is dead, but it's on life support. So I think for me, the more important part of that earned media piece is the relationships. Oh my gosh, there's that word again.
That's why it's public relations.
Absolutely. Yep. And the pitch. The pitch is become a most important part of that earned media
Absolutely
evolution. And that comes from not just the relationship, but understanding who your audience is. We talked about that a lot too. Well, it's the same there.
This is where it all comes together.
If you've got the relationship with the reporter that you can give them a call, shoot them an email, and again, relationships, understanding how they like to be communicated
That's
with.
right. Don't beat them to death with everything.
Oh, they get beat to death all the time.
Don't send them frivolous stuff, things that are incomplete, things that you know darn good and well don't deserve the media attention. Don't send it to your contact. You'll burn them out.
Absolutely. News peg. I mean, it's like real estate. Location.
Be specific.
If you don't have the news peg, don't send it to them. Oh, and by the way, if your client wants you to do something that doesn't have a news peg, you got to have the guts to say, this ain't going to fly and I'm not going to piss off my contacts.
And that's your job as the PR professional,
Absolutely.
as communication professionals, to explain to our client that what is newsworthy and ready for a pitch and what isn't. We can't let our client push us down that path.
And maybe it's as simple as taking that piece of paper and going, if we did it this way, maybe we'd have better luck. But if we do it this way, it's not going to happen.
And even more so with PR, marketing can get very sales direct,
right?
But PR shouldn't do that. Don't let your client push you into, I want you to get this sales pitch done. Right. It's our job as professionals to change that conversation and push them back in the direction that they should be working, which is a media relationship.
Sales will come with the relationship when you provide people with enough information to make an intelligent and informed decision, then you're good to go. But if your pitch, if your news release looks like a sales pitch, it's not going to fly. You're going to piss your contacts off.
When you're in the mall and you're walking through the mall and you see those people and they're going to try to spray you with the samples, and we all avoid them, right? You duck behind people, you do this bit, no thank you, because you just don't want it to happen.
Right.
You don't want to be that person to your media contacts.
Exactly. You don't want your media contacts to run away as you're walking down the hall.
They want to see your name on the caller ID or see your email pop up and go, oh my gosh, him again.
Right.
Ugh.
Exactly.
Don't be that guy or girl.
No. It's not all about telling your story all the time, that relationship piece. If you see something and one of your media contacts covers that, and maybe it's not in you become a resource for them, give them a tip. Give them a heads up that this is going on, and if you can, help them to realize that story.
And remember, a relationship is a real relationship, not following someone on Twitter.
Right.
Now, if you engage each other on Twitter, you've begun a relationship. Just because you follow them on Twitter doesn't mean you're in a relationship. Speaking of Twitter, I actually saw someone tweet the other day, a reporter that tweeted that, please don't send me something where the subject line is, I know this isn't what you do, but.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Right. Apparently it's happened enough, he felt the need to tell people via Twitter to stop doing that.
Right. Well, why do you send it if you know it's not something to deal with?
Sure, if someone's an actual friend, if someone you really know, Pritch, I could call you up at your office at OU and say, hey Pritch, I know this isn't what you do at OU, but I need to talk to someone in architecture or engineering or something like that. Like, we can have that conversation because we're legitimate friends. We actually know each other. We have a legitimate relationship. I could call you and say, I know this isn't what you do. Someone who's never met you, or maybe someone said, hey, Pritch, I met you for 5 seconds at a presentation you did for PRSA a couple months ago.
Right.
And now I need you to go do this thing that you don't do for me. That doesn't work the same.
Right.
So it's the same thing when you pitch media professionals.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. I was trying to think of all the lines in that commercial where the neighbor comes over and says, "Hey, do you know anybody that can do a roof repair?" "Yeah, I do." "Well, okay, great. Get 3 quotes and schedule it for me in the next 2 weeks." It's like, what?
Yeah, there's a difference between asking someone for a small favor, especially when it's something that they already do. It might even benefit their career, or at least the deadline they're on this week, and then asking them to go out of the way for you for no reason other than it benefits you 100%.
Exactly.
That's not how relationships work.
The other key piece to that I want to make sure I mention is that it is two-way communication, all right? You have to be the advocate for the media with your organization, explain to them why it's beneficial to work with the media, with that particular representative. At the same time, you have to be able to tell the media rep why it's not possible to do what they want to do, and to suggest maybe some other ways of doing things. It's about access, providing them with the access that's appropriate. I'm going to lob a sweat grenade here too, and many people, I've said this before, many people disagree with me, but journalism and public relations are kin under the skin.
Absolutely.
That they're in the same business, they just take it from a different approach.
They
It's all
need
about
each other.
telling the story.
They need each other, but that's why it's so important to do it right.
Absolutely.
Because the I don't need them and they don't need me happens when they don't connect properly, because you're pitching things that don't need to be pitched correctly, and people aren't receiving pitches with an open mind. But it goes both ways.
Well, and some of it is past experience. You get bombarded with the bazillion news releases, and yeah, you're going to get a little irritated with PR people. But you have to hang in there. You have to keep working at the relationship.
That's what it's all about: relationships and a win-win scenario.
Absolutely.
Hey everyone, we have a special guest on the Neo Marketing Podcast. It's Kristen Ewing, the president of PRSA. Good to see you today, Kristen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Tell the folks who don't know what PRSA is.
PRSA is the Public Relations Society of America. It's a nonprofit organization for all the PR leaders here in Oklahoma City as well as in the country.
How long have you been involved?
I have been a member since 2005. I had to stop and think.
Very good. So quite a while.
Yes.
So tell us what's happening at PRSA. What do you guys have coming up soon?
In PRSA, we have our monthly meetings. January, we have brought in Blake from Walmart, who actually used to be here in Oklahoma City.
Barron's, right? Blake Barron's.
And he used to be at Chesapeake and Saxon, and so it's exciting to bring someone who was local in, who has great experience at Walmart National. So he'll be speaking to us in January, I think, or did, based on timing of this. And he'll be meeting with our seasoned pros also. And then in February, we have C.L. Lopez with the County of San Bernardino, California, coming to speak about their crisis of when current employees went on the little shooting spree.
Oh.
I'm really not sure how to phrase that.
Wow.
So
crisis management in
Yes.
an active shooter situation. That is as crisis as it gets.
Yeah, so it's a little different than, we love to focus on the tornado of crisis communications as well as the bombing, but it's nice to bring in another perspective of something similar but different. And so that should be a great meeting in February. And then we have Serena Elrich with Business Wire coming in March to discuss measurement, always something very important to show our C-suite how measurable and productive and important PR is. So
It's so important, and it seems to be the thing everyone kind of skimps on.
yes, it's hard to explain really, because you can say, oh, well, I had this conversation or that conversation. Well, what are the numbers behind it?
Right.
I focus on social media, so I have it a little easier because I have impressions and reach, but at the same time, they don't tell the full story. So
For people who haven't been to a PRSA meeting or haven't been in a while, how can they find you guys online, and how can, because anyone can attend, right?
absolutely, we love having guests. I know Keely Dorian, our president-elect, just emailed me. We were talking, and we have about 50-50 for the January meeting of guests and members. So anyone can go online to PRSA-OKC.com and register for any meeting which strikes their interest. And we're always happy to have guests, as well as PRSA students, which we love seeing them there, and we can kind of bring them into the fold and get them hooked on PRSA. Our Facebook page and Twitter page accounts have really started to take off with our current committee, so I'm excited about that. They're posting nearly every day, I think, and so they're sharing tidbits from our members here in Oklahoma City and good professional development training articles and all sorts of good stuff.
You have a really robust job line too on the website.
Yes, it's definitely the spot to be to find a job. Many employers comment to us, they send us their jobs because they know it's the place to put their communication type jobs on. And I know when I reviewed the 2017 surveys, a member put that every job they have had, I don't know if it was a male or female, so someone responded and said every job that they have had has come from either our job line or coming to meetings and networking. And some of their jobs have not been advertised. So
Very
I mean,
nice.
it pays off to attend our meetings, hopefully be a member. So
The definition of a professional organization.
yes,
Thanks for stopping by
Yeah.
the Neo Marketing Podcast today.
thank you for having me.
Bonus question today. What's the weirdest thing that any of your employers has ever asked you to do?
So, funny story. When I was in high school, my senior year of high school, I was the mascot. I was the guy in the costume, you know, the big head, and you know, the Thunder has Rumble the Bison.
Right.
I was this guy for our high school. So I got a call one time back in for those of you old enough to know, and those of you not old enough to know or not in Oklahoma City, in the 70s, 80s, the baseball team, the AAA baseball team was called the 1889ers.
Right.
Which was reference to the land run of 1889. But how do you make that a mascot? Anyways, long story short, their mascot was just sort of a baseball player, baseball uniform with a giant baseball head. Like 10 foot round. I got a call that their guy was sick and the San Diego Chicken was coming.
Uh-oh.
It was a big deal.
Yeah,
It was a
it's
big
a
deal in
big
the
deal.
80s, right? Big deal for
Absolutely.
mascots. And so they couldn't not have their mascot there. And someone who knew I knew how to be in a mascot costume. So I run down there to do, and I'm a senior in high school. I think this is really cool. I'm hanging out with the cheerleaders. It's
Right.
all good. They put me in this costume. Whoever designed this costume was a lunatic. It was a baseball uniform. They just gave me a regular uniform from the team,
Right.
which was fine. But you couldn't see out of the head. It was giant, and there was just the literal eye holes. There was no, like now you see them now have all this mesh and all this mechanisms and all this. There was none of that. So the cheerleaders had to walk me around, and they had to walk up and down the steps in the
God.
stadium. And it was supposed to be waving, and then all the kids want to run up to you and they hug you like around the leg, and you're trying to not knock them down or kick them, not fall on them because you're down the steps, and also not kind of like, you know, gyrate on them or whatever you would be. So it was very strange because I don't know who the person full time, I guess they learned how to use it,
Right.
being thrown in it and then run out there and play with the San Diego Chicken, who ran circles around me. It was crazy and stole the show luckily, and I just sort of got to stand there. It was really weird. But it was fun, and I got to hang out with the cheerleaders. So.
Well, I wish mine was quite as entertaining, but when I was at Strategic Command in Omaha, we had a 4-star change of command coming up. And
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You got, you know, Secretary of Defense is coming to be the keynote speaker, so you got all this other stuff going on. Well, right outside of the main gate was a rendering plant. And the 3-star deputy said, "Pritchard, I want you to go over there and I want you to ask them to shut down the day of our change of command because if the wind was blowing right, it was disgusting."
Ugh.
So I became the smell control officer. I called him up, called up the manager and explained what was going on, and he said, "Sure, we'll help you out. Would you like a tour of the plant?" And I can't say no because it's about relationships.
There you go.
So I got to tour a rendering plant. Let me tell you, that was not my highest and most proud moment, but we didn't have smell during the change of command. So
You got it done.
I got it done.
That's all that matters.
Absolutely. So, well, that wraps us up for this episode, and we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you want to join us. If you do, give us a shout. You've got all the contact information on this, and we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, ciao.
Good luck.